Game Pass or Play. Welcome to Current Kick Games. I'm Billy, and welcome to my series where I play Game Pass games to let you know if they're worth your time. On today's episode, I'm covering The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom. The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom is a hack-and-slash RPG based off the Last Kids on Earth Netflix and book series of the same name. When zombies and monsters invade his hometown, scrappy 13-year-old Jack Sullivan teams up with his friends to survive the apocalypse. The video game uses the same art style as the Netflix animation, and while there are some killing of monsters and zombies, there's no blood, so this is a rated E for everyone video game. A quick summary of The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom. Let's say, kids first Diablo. This is a game where you hack and slash your way through different maps, looking for new weapons, armor, treasure chests filled with coins, and upgrades for your treehouse's defenses. Right off the bat, I have to say that this game controls really well. Jack and most of his friends, and we'll get to the most of part later, feel good to fight with. Control of your characters on the left stick. Your basic light attack is on X, which can be held down for continuous attacks. No need to keep mashing the button here. You've got a heavy attack on A, which uses some of your stamina. A dodge roll on B, which also uses stamina. And Y for throwing one of your long range, they call them grenades. Holding down the left trigger locks onto an enemy, and right trigger is used to summon. Now, this is a Diablo clone, so the abilities do vary a bit between characters because they're technically different classes. We have 2 for melee and 2 for range. Melee, starting off with Jack, he's kind of an all-arounder. Dirk is the heavy. For range, we have the speedy June, who has the highest agility in the game, using one-handed guns. And finally, Quint, who has 2-handed launchers with the highest damage in the game. Now, each character comes with their own specific summon and heavy attack, but of course, since this is a loot game, weapon blueprints can be found and identified, giving each character options for DPS for special abilities. Basically, each weapon you find has a different heavy attack that can be used, and each character has their own unique thrown grenade. But since this game is so easy, I think it's just best to play with all the characters and figure out which one feels best for you. You're not limited to who you pick at the start of the game, as there are phone booths all throughout the maps, which allow you to switch to any character you would like. They all share levels, so the only downside is that you will need to spend more of your coins that you find throughout the game upgrading each of these characters' specific weapons, as they're unique to each friend. Armor, luckily, can be swapped between any character at any time. I mentioned most of Jack's friends control well, and I said that because I really found the range characters to be too tedious to play. Enemies can swarm you so quickly and you get hit way too much, especially since dodging takes the whole section of your stamina away every time you use it. I found myself getting hit and unable to dodge away from incoming damage whenever I played June or Quint. And to be honest, I stuck with Jack for the majority of the game, and the game felt a little samey because I used his starting weapon, the baseball bat, because it swung the fastest. I did find a bunch of weapons for Jack, but I found that they just swung too slowly for my playstyle. The damage increases not being enough to warrant a seemingly lower DPS. The gameplay loop is fun enough, but it started to get stale after a couple hours because you're not really gaining new abilities as in games such as Diablo 3. Gameplay mix-ups are solely based on what weapon you find along your journey, and if you decide to swap to a different character. It got boring for me, especially since I didn't really like playing anyone else other than Jack, and only after about 4 hours of playtime did I finally find another weapon I enjoyed using as much as the starting bat. And add on to that you're locked out of upgrading your weapons past a certain point until you spend coins on actually upgrading your treehouse first, which come in increments of 10,000 and 25,000 coins. Now, The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom does attempt to mix up the action with a tower defense game, but in my play so far, I've only encountered 2 of these sequences, and they were not challenging at all. That's mostly because this is indeed a game made for children. It has a great feel, but it's missing depth. And while the action gets repetitive after a couple hours, it is kind of fun. I did find myself playing for another hour when I only meant to capture about 10 minutes of footage. Like I said, it feels good. So is this a game pass or play? I would call this one a pass for most gamers. Unless you have children and you're looking to play a game with some split-screen co-op, I think the repetitiveness of the gameplay loop, lack of difficulty, and music keeps The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom off my Game Pass play recommendations. It's not a bad game by any means. Throwing on a podcast and mindlessly killing some zombies will leave you with an okay time, but for my time and money, I'd much rather play Diablo or a Diablo clone with more depth, because the hours I'm putting in will continuously unlock new abilities for me to mix up the gameplay with. The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom is just a 5 to 6 hour journey and then you're done. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm about 4 hours in and looking up some walkthroughs, I have about an hour and a half left. Outside of Xbox Game Pass, The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom is available for PS4, Switch, and PC, but I strongly recommend not paying the retail $39.99, or even really the current sale price of $19.99. But let me know if you've checked out this on Game Pass. Like this video and subscribe for more videos in my Game Pass or Play series and video gaming videos in general. And until next time, see ya.